So in Dragon's Dogma, everybody wants to know, how do you fight? How do you deal more damage? What's the best way to go about it? So the obvious answer, and I think it's no surprise to anybody, is you level up. That will always give you more attack points, it will make you stronger, and naturally you should find yourself just with better stuff overall. That is a very, very short answer. And again, it depends on your vocation. Some things will include more. For instance, if you are going to be a fighter, you more than likely will do better hand-to-hand combat. I think, again, that is very, very self-explanatory. And if you become a mage of any kind, you should, again, be very good at long-range attacks. Same as an archer, you can see here. I'm not necessarily doing anything crazy, it is just a simple attack, it's no actual special attacks on the go there, and that's okay. You can do that and it's absolutely fine, but there is always better ways. For instance, when looking at the kind of bigger monsters, you're looking at a griffin, you're looking at a troll, they most definitely are not going to be just X orientated, because at least I'm talking about console here. They are going to require a lot more special attacks, special hits, to the point where, for instance, if I was going with a dire attack for one of these, as we see, you're gonna have to hit it and you'll see it'll do a lot more damage, and potentially with the smaller enemies it will hit and potentially knock them over somewhere. So as we go through this, so then what else can I do bar from level up? Because naturally there's going to be stuff. There's always going to be extra exploits you can use. Obviously better weapons, better armor. They are the standard in any game possible. Like that is just always going to be normal. But there is extra things that you can learn, and also it's always a nice thing to have when it comes to your pawns as well. Because the one thing that I must admit I am a big fan of in Dragon's Dogma is when you do certain things, your pawns also do certain things. Did I not get to him? Unbelievable. So in terms of that, you can obviously then kind of attack in a certain way, and it will do more damage for your intellect on your pawns as well. So for instance, when it comes to a troll, when it comes to a troll, you will find that more than likely, if you hit it in the head, it tends to do better. Why on earth is no one attacking this? There we go, that's better. But in terms of attacking a troll, if you hit the body, it more than likely will not necessarily do too much. When it comes to hitting the head, if it's on the floor, you will find you'll do a lot more damage being able to absolutely swipe it in the head. So when you get it on the floor, if it bounces, you'll find yourself have a decent sort of zone. So for instance, when it comes to an archer, for instance, let's see if I can find somebody, because there seems to be more up here. There is a kind of a steady shot. So basically, when it comes to the archer especially, if I can find that goblin, where has he gone? There he is. Oh, is he going to be attacking? But as you can see, so for instance, if I was to go and do a steady shot, I can hold RB, and I can go and literally point to where I want when I want to shoot. So when using the special attack, for instance, when I'm looking at this, it will then pull back, and I can aim to wherever I want. So if I want to aim all the way across, I can aim where I want there. When it comes to the automatic shots, it can still hit the head, but predominantly it is just a non-accurate sort of thing. So it doesn't work like that. So for instance, with this, I'm looking at him here, and I miss entirely. I'm not saying that you have to have a good aim, but that's the kind of point. And what you'll find is sometimes you'll get dialogue for it, sometimes you won't. Your pawns will actually acknowledge that you found a weak spot. So for instance, if you are something like a thief, a fighter, you are hitting a certain zone, maybe you're climbing upon the opponent and you'll find it that way. So for instance, this is a perfect example because you have the lizard people. You will find that hitting their back is not going to do anything great, because it's scaly. It's hard armor that you don't want to be hitting. So what I find is when you hit the kind of extra, he's going to launch for me, isn't he? Are you looking for gift cards, game keys and more? Head over to U7Buy for a variety of cards you can get today. From PSN, Steam, all the way to Xbox. With huge amounts of price variations. Check the link in the description for cheap, reliable digital cards for you right now. No, he's not. But as you can see already, the damage done less on there is absolutely criminal. Whereas if you go for more of the body here, So if I can try and aim it into the head, the damage is much better. And you can see just then, hitting the tail kind of in the fighter stance, that's always going to be a great one because it's something you can chop off. And it does a decent amount of damage. And as you can see on the back here, the single shot is doing absolutely nothing. So you are going to have to go for specials. And we're going to try and run away from him so we can do the slide shot. And again, try and get something. And there we go. It's all done. Also, make sure that you are looking at the enemy as well if you're going to examine to take any of the scales. But the best thing about that is that's something you can do from level 1. And as you progress, you should naturally get some more and more damage going in there. So obviously, if I'm a level 5 attacking the lizard people compared to level 20, 25, you should find that the harder opponents at the start shouldn't do too much when you are a higher level. Better vocation, that's always going to be a big one with the advanced vocations is going to be brilliant. I've realised I've not got my third pawn with me. But that's always going to be extra stuff that is progression through the game. That is what it is. You're not necessarily bound to go and beat the biggest of bosses straight away because that's not the point of the game. The whole point of the game is to obviously progress forward, better armor, all of that good stuff, and then you eventually get to the point where you are absolutely TKOing stuff. It's the same as goblins right now. Like realistically as an archer, I don't need too much help with it because obviously I'm now at a certain level where they shouldn't be as much of a deal. But when it comes to the trolls, you'll find that maybe they are a little bit harder. When it comes to then the griffins, when they've got the free healths, unless you are really going for it, you'll find that more than likely it will just be very difficult and a long-winded battle compared to your level 50s, your level 60s. I don't even know what level it goes up to, but whatever level it goes up to, that's when you are going against the top of the top. When did you spawn in here? So as you'll see for something like this, it doesn't really take too much damage, and to be honest, he is going to come after me, and hopefully my people can actually stop because he's going to spear me. But when it comes to dealing more damage, there's a lot of ways. Weapons, skills, kind of gear, enhancements, that's always going to be a really big one. That's absolutely massive if obviously you are on the kind of topper level. The enhancements are going to be brilliant if you can get the max and get all of the different kind of equipment needed, all of the items from basically harvesting monsters, I suppose. But you'll get items that you can obviously enhance your equipment with. It will give you debuffs, it will give you percentage boosts, and then just natural damage increases as well. So for instance, if you look at the equipment right here, when we look at this one, I don't think I've enhanced any of these at the moment. Or at least if I have, you can't see it. But you'll be able to see that through the weapons guy. And then also in the statuses, you can check your vocations from here. So for instance, as you can see, archer-wise, I've been an archer on this account for the whole time pretty much. Yes, you'll potentially get some more vocations going up once I decide to change. And obviously when it comes to the vocation level, I have got a lot more shots that are getting more mastery level as I continue through the game. Now I'm only about probably a couple of hours in, and to be honest, all I'm doing right now is predominantly just looking at the map. I'm trying to kind of go through and really just see what I can kind of get myself into, because literally I haven't ventured anywhere down here yet. So that's going to be a big thing. I'm just trying to basically clear my way through, because I think that is another way to get more practice in, because as well, when it comes to dealing more damage, you've got to be smart with what you're doing. You can't physically just spam a button. That seems to be not the RPG way anymore. And I'm from an era of, I don't even know if you'd call them RPGs, but like your kind of role play sort of storyline game where you could technically, I need that actually. You come here. I kind of need rabbit pelts. So unfortunately for him, I will need that rabbit pelt off him. So when it comes to that, you'll find that obviously you will kind of take a little bit more time to get used to it. It isn't necessarily a pick up and you know everything about the game, because what are you doing? Go away. Go away. Honestly, and that's the big thing. It's just protecting stuff. I think that's because my bow's out, but naturally it is about progressing through the game, using everything to your advantage. Even items. Some items do give you a slight buff. I don't know which one I've got on me. We've got drink it for your boost in strength and magic for a period of time. That again can be utilized. If you're going into a hard battle, you want to make sure that you've got absolutely every single part of you is at the absolute top of the top. Now, which way is it best to go back into the village? We'll go right. So in terms of dealing more damage, there is a lot that you can do, from the basic, just generic upgrades to actually performance stuff, getting enhancements, finding gear. And again, that's why I personally really like kind of almost adventuring into the game, because you can find stuff that maybe you wouldn't normally have, because naturally you are finding chests, you are finding different stuff. Did he just fall off the edge? You are finding chests and all of that stuff, which is really good to actually have, when really you don't actually have to, because you can be doing quests and just basically plodding along and paying for your upgrades, whereas you can find chests with some incredible loot, which will enhance your game tenfold. You could find the best bow at level 20, 30, and really a lot of people are finding that at level 50. So it is a lot of different things. Let me know down below, and for the commenters as well, what secret ways you've got of either leveling up, of either getting different gear, different armor, and dealing a lot more damage in Dragon's Dogma 2.